You could have heard this episode 48 hours early on our Patreon, patreon.com/indieheadspodcast. By joining us for as low as $1 a month, you'll see episodes early and gain access to our Discord server. All of our upcoming episodes will be up on our Patreon 48 hours before it hits our public podcast feeds. But if you're hearing this via our Patreon feed, we thank you so much for your support. We especially want to thank our Real Ones patrons, including Becca Etienne, Georgia Mikowski, Delaney Miller, Rihanna Cruz, Josiah Duncan, Janelle Fleur, Matt Cameron, Grant in the Back of My Dragula, Pablo Escobar's Hippos, Jackson Christ, Alec Felder, Jeremy Bull, Marcy Anime, I Like Books, Jonathan David, Sarah Moore, Max Kapazinski, Mark Barry, Aaron Hilsamer, Darian Fisher, GRS420, Cal 50, Certified Dave Matthews Cream Pie Baby, Chris Wade, Jacqueline Cottaga, Midwest Maxwell, Kevin John, Jake Wald, Eraserhead Baby, Rob Marino, Max, Dylan, Sandy Nemo, Waffle113, Gavin 490 Freak, and Maze Farms. To become a real one, consider supporting us for $5 a month on Patreon or receive a bonus episode every month and get a shout out at the top of the pod. Anyways, though, enjoy the episode. Do we want to make an announcement about Dick Ass?
Oh, that's a great way to start the episode. Okay. Yes, we like to make an official announcement here. Breaking news. All right. For a long time listeners, or OG listeners, yes. You have to be like one of the classic few. Way back. A long time ago, there was a man by the name of Dick Ass. That was the name that we, a long time ago, right around the release of which Dirty Projectors album would that be?
I think it was the self-titled. The self-titled was where we started on him.
It was the year of Dick Ass is what it was. It was the year that the man, Dave Longstreth, formerly known as Dick Ass, basically broke all of us, both in terms of releasing bad music and also being just like the villain of that press cycle that year. I think that was the year for the end of the year awards for the podcast where we were all just like, we need to banish this man. Like he has been, it was very similar to Father John Misty on that. And when he reached peak Father John Misty, it's just like, this guy is being quoted.
Actually.
Okay. Not a value judgment on the music. I just mean like he's being quoted every day. Yes, go ahead.
Go ahead. Did the balls on Lamplit Pros always look like you really wanted to eat them?
What? What?
Hell no! Hell no! We're going to ignore that. We're ignore that take. I will continue from here.
Point being, back to the conversation at hand.
Let's get back to Jehovah's Witnesses.
Right. So Dave Longstreth was just so in our faces that whole year that we're like, no longer will Dave Longstreth be referred to as Dave Longstreth. He is only going to be referred to as his new name, Dick Ass. And for years we kept this up until Dave Longstreth eventually, tired of being called Dick Ass, faded into obscurity, and he did his time. Like, I have not been actively annoyed by a thing Dave Longstreth did in a couple of years. And so because of that, and because of breaking news that happened today, which if you were on the internet from like the moment I woke up this morning, you knew it was the story of the day, which is that fuck Patrick Carney, because Patrick Carney, drummer of the Black Keys, cheated on his girlfriend, Queen Michelle Branch.
His wife. Which, I mean,
go ahead, Matty. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm going to go off for a second. Patrick Carney, this isn't just like, he cheated on his wife, Michelle Branch, a queen, an icon, so many iconic songs that she has made in our lifetime. An adult contemporary legend, Michelle Branch, married her, cheated on her despite having not only like a 2 or 3 year old child with her, a 6-month-old child, and allegedly cheated on her with his manager. Like,
yes,
what the fuck?
And then
his bitch ass gets her arrested for slapping him. Which honestly, again, this is a case where it's like I am not supporting domestic violence. I don't want to come out there, but if you cheat on your wife who just had your fucking baby, you bought something. The slap is a receipt. That's just all I'm going to say. The slap is a receipt.
And especially like to then call the police on her while they have a 6-month-old baby at home that she then had to be released early on bail because she had to breastfeed her 6-month-old baby that she was taking care of while Patrick Carney was cheating on Michelle Branch. So that is why we are all saying, fuck Patrick Carney. you are now Dick Ass. We have patched the torch, all right? So now from now on, Dave Longstreth, you are free. You can once again, you're not added to the Council of Daves. You're still not worthy of being on the hall with the upper echelon Daves, but you can once again hold the prestigious title of Dave. And just don't watch yourself. You're still on probation, Dave Longstreth, but welcome to new Dick Ass, drummer of the Black Keys, Dick Ass. Remember when they put out an album called Let's Rock?
You bitch. Oh god. All right, let's just get in this pod.
Love this one.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to an episode of the Indieheads podcast, episode number 195, I believe. I'm your host, Matty, @Murray Prince on Twitter. I just want to explain really quick because we did the cold open there. We took a week off because I was sick with the flu. And folks, let me tell you, the flu is not great. The flu sucks. I don't know if I would say it's worse than COVID. I feel like in the short term, COVID was way worse, but in terms of the long term, the flu has definitely been worse. Just because at least when I had COVID, the COVID vaccines, shouts out to Pfizer, Moderna, Johnson & Johnson, they made them shit strong. Like, it's gonna get you COVID. If you get vaccinated, you get boosted. It obviously varies person to person, but for me, kicked my ass for like a day or two, pretty much regular sick. After that, I was able to eat like a normal person. Having the flu vaccines are just simply not powerful enough. They're just not strong enough. So I had no appetite for a week, and I'm still in a weird appetite level. So I no longer have the flu, but I'm still in the very late recovery process of getting over it.
I feel like Gavin's
here we are.
Ooh, my tummy hurts jokes just like
it just passed over. He gave whatever he had. He gave it to me.
We spent too long making fun of I was poisoned. And now we're all getting poisoned.
We got cursed.
See, I was not even a part of that. I didn't even get involved with that bit, and I still got the flu in the summertime
by the way,
too.
If you all want an entertaining read, please stop listening to this podcast and go browse iwaspoisoned.com. Very very good website.
It is very funny, but we can't talk about I Was Poisoned because we have something else to talk about that we haven't talked about in a while. What is it, Matty?
We are here, myself, Jackie, Rose, and Max. We are here to talk about the Billboard Top 10 as of recording date August 12th, which we have not talked about the top 10 in a while. Obviously, we've just been busy with other stuff. We've had the 90s rock number pretty much the last year. We've been busy. We've had 90s rock number ones. We kind of got that niche filled a little bit with like 5 morons, and of course various other episodes, Dave Grohl requests and all that stuff over the past year. But also, the top 10 over the last year has been pretty stagnant. There's not been a lot of changes. Even just the one that we're looking at now is still like it's not super fresh.
For reference, I don't know if we covered it on a previous chart. No, we didn't. We didn't cover it.
We talked about heat waves. We talked about heat waves on the 90s rock series.
The song "Heat Waves" by Glass Animals.
Because we talked about heat waves
was on the charts
for
like a fucking year.
We basically were waiting until "Stay" by Justin Bieber and Kid Laroi and Heat Waves finally left the top 10. Like, we were just like,
this is the new
as
guard.
soon as we can talk about the top 10 without those fuckers here, then we'll do it again. And finally we arrived at a top 10 this week with no one that,
it's still in the top 20.
It's
"Stay" by the Kid Laroi.
It's at 56 weeks. It's hit an entire year on the fucking charts because I think it's just like
because God is dead. Culture is stagnant.
You could say that. It's also just sort of that like what we've seen with Spotify and how it continues to fragment more and more, and people continue to listen to old music rather than new music more than ever before, which we will get to on this episode. Like, I think it just results in that, like, the actual monoculture is such a stagnant thing because it's so hard for something to break through to that level. So it's like once something reaches the ubiquity of that, people just keep racking up streaming numbers because there are still people that engage with music on a passive enough level that they will just listen to Heat Waves for a year of their life. Like, that's a normal thing that they'll do. Like, they're not
I don't even think it's just that. It's just so little else is able to break through. So, like,
totally.
like nothing can replace it. So they're just like, well, we'll keep playing it.
I think that's why like our kind of middle school dance episodes are interesting because that's approaching like the last point in time where like there could be like a larger set of songs that like break through into the mainstream. Like there's 30, 40 songs from that era that most people know for the most part. And now it's just like kind of this wall of nothing that just gets traded in and traded out and like nothing matters.
I mean, really, who's having the last laugh here? The people who actually engage with the monoculture, or the freaks like me who don't know a single song from any time ever? I think we're finally winning here.
Yeah, Rose revealed to us earlier today, which
Oh,
we're not gonna.
no.
We've already argued about it, so we're not gonna do it. We just gotta get this fact out there. If you're in the Discord, you already know. Rose informed us today that they had not heard Mr. Brightside until they were in college. A song, again, I feel like Rose, as a white person, I feel like you're betraying our kind by not hearing that song until you're in college. Like that's a song that should be like in your blood by the time you're out of like high school at
This
least.
just never came up.
South
Like,
Carolina is an
listen,
alien world.
I'd never heard of the Killers, period, until like high school, like late high school when I started talking to you dorks. I want to make that very clear. I did not hear of
That's
them until
true.
you people came into my life.
Okay, we're gonna. What's not again? We got a lot. We got some songs to get into. So I just don't want to. We don't want to bring up the discourse any further.
The new
I just
Killer
have to.
song isn't in the top 10, but any day now, if my racked up streams will do anything to it, we're gonna get it up there, folks. Because the man is
I hope
not
not.
man. Excuse me, I'm thinking of a different Killer song. Boy is out now, and it's the best Killer song they've made since like Sam's Town. I think it's so fucking good.
You would think that the Mormon community has a lot of like manic zoomer energy that they could direct towards getting the Killers to chart. You would think.
I mean,
the
the Killers have such. They have a couple of really
I'd like
deep
them
wells.
a lot more if they were the Chillers, to be honest.
First of all, one thing you should know about the Killers and Rose, this will make you even more bitter and against them and against having to know about them. They are insanely popular in the UK, like even more so than in the United States.
Oh
like,
no, I found that out earlier.
They are like one of, if not the biggest American bands of the last 20 years in the UK. And Mr. Brightside was like in the same way Heatwave stuck around on our charts for an obscenely long amount of time. Like Mr. Brightside was on the charts in the UK for like 15 years, like for an insanely long amount of time. Like
I mean, the British charts are deranged. We one day we need to do a pod about the Christmas number ones because we could get so deep into that. Like,
oh god, no, Chris. Again, if y'all want to do a Christmas songs pod, that's great. I'm not going to be involved.
No, it's not Christmas songs. That's the thing. Is like half of these aren't Christmas songs. There's like this insane fucking thing where like people just try really hard to get just like weird shit onto the number one spot for Christmas week in the UK.
Oh.
And like half the time it's not Christmas songs. However, in recent years, there has been a specific plight going on in the UK where like this YouTuber gets sausage roll themed songs onto the number one spot every year. He's been doing this for like 3 years now. He got fucking Elton John and Ed Sheeran roped into it last year.
Are there any songs like about Hanukkah?
There's the Adam Sandler song.
Obviously,
Adam
Sandler song.
And then like y'all learned like the Latka song in elementary school, right?
And the dreidel song.
The dreidel song.
Yeah. I think you're making a Latka song. You're
No.
Or there is.
Well, there's dreidels to play with and latkes to eat.
Yes.
You know.
Mm-hmm.
Matty, why are you showing us the picture? You're not enjoying this conversation.
All I'm saying is, patrons, please sound
I'm just
off
saying that
if
we
you
have
want
a topic that we need to get to.
Need to get to it.
But can I just say one last thing? Patrons, please sound off if you want a UK number one, UK Christmas number one's pod. I think that will break some people's psychology.
I do want to do that.
Rose, I'm gonna one up your idea a little bit. I think it's in the similar vein. I'm gonna one up it by a little more. The stupid fucking comedian songs that get big on the charts, the charity comedian songs. Do an episode on those.
What are
of comedians doing like covers of
songs?
songs.
I know
we
what you're
listen to
talking
one of
about.
The UK, they love that
The
shit.
billboards can wait. Can we?
Oh my
see one of
god!
those?
Pod of all the pod of only like UK novelty number one. So like the one with the fucking veteran.
Oh, that's so
remember,
many.
came out of-
That could be a whole series. That could be a whole series.
No, we cannot do a series.
From everything I've learned about the UK charts from Todd in the Shadows and like the stuff that's like gone like high on the charts, it's too many.
It's
Too
a
much.
wormhole we
And
can't
if I remember
enter.
correctly, at some point there was, I don't remember if it was successful, but there was a campaign that came at least very close to winning, where everyone got a Jarvis Cocker song called "Cunts Are Still Running the World" to number one.
There was that. There was the Rage Against the Machine stuff. There was a campaign for that. Again, we're talking about the American charts, which are much harder to do stuff like that for. Although we'll get there a little later on. So coming in, of course, this is the top 10, but we're gonna talk about number 11 because there's an artist that's on here twice in the top 10. So I was like, let's check in on one of our
I'm not
guys,
even sure
one of our guys in terms of the Billboard charts. Post Malone at number 11 with his song I Like You, a happier song featuring Doja Cat. So I'm going to play some of that real quick. The thing with Post Malone is that
Wait, I haven't heard this song yet, I don't think. Can you turn it up?
Why are you on this episode?
This is the only one I haven't heard.
I never heard this one.
You added it
before this week,
after I listened to it the first time, and I was like, I'm not going back.
This is like one of the only ones I turned off halfway through.
This song is fine. Whatever. It's whatever.
It's very whatever.
It's whatever. Circles by Post Malone is a great song, and it's Let me make my point, Rose. Okay, I'm gonna make my point. It's a great song, and it's a bit of a shame that he kind of hasn't really like decide, hey, maybe I should like pivot to this. Instead, he's still like doing his usual Post Malone thing, but it's clear that like the magic is gone.
We are living in a post Sunflower world where he found his last new bit to do, and he's just like trying to iterate on that. It's like,
yeah.
It seems like he's taking more Sunflower than Circles, which I think is the wrong move.
And like that stupid little wobble he does on his voice, I hate it so much. That
I was listening to Micah Peters and Justin Charity talk about this album on their podcast, and they nailed that it's yodeling. That's what he's doing. It's yodely vocals. And once you realize that, it kind of ruins Post Malone in a little bit. But like also, they were talking about how they liked this album and how in general it's like a slightly more tasteful iteration of Post Malone's very like inoffensive thing. But my problem with this song is just that I don't like horny Post Malone. Like I don't like Post Malone.
He shouldn't be horny.
Trying to be sold to me as sexy, even though I don't think he's like as ugly as sometimes people try to say he is. But like I'm not saying I want to fuck Post Malone, but I'm just saying like I don't want to think about it in my pop songs, and I don't.
You're not kicking him out of the room.
I don't find his voice like appealing in that way, and I don't think his writing is ever suited for it, especially in this like sunflowery mode with like Doja Cat. Like I much prefer him in sad, almost country Bud Light pop mode, because that feels much more like authentic to who he is, and he's actually pretty good at doing like that one song at the end. I think it's called something whiskey, or like Feelin' Whiskey or something like that, from one of his earlier albums, that literally sounds like him doing like a Mumford and Sons song, but good. Essentially, Feeling Whitney is the name of it. But I think this song is like not great. I don't like it. I think the beat is like just pretty. It's totally a sound alike of Sunflower and of other stuff, but it's just trying to be like
Matty,
that.
You just scrolled right past it. You just scrolled right.
I know, I saw it. I was just checking the rest of the track list.
But yeah, but that song is good, and there are a couple of other times when he has leaned all the way into like, I'm gonna combine the kind of vocal stuff I do with like a more explicitly guitar oriented kind of, and like the sad sack thing just works better for him than like I'm your romantic interest.
Yeah. Being horny is one of the bravest artistic choices an artist can make, because lots of them you don't believe. We should
stop doing it. Nobody should be horny in music, okay? I just want to get that out there.
Disagree.
I am willing to say it. Nobody should ever be horny while recording a song ever. They should drag you out of the studio.
Some of the greatest songs of all time have come from artists that are disastrously horny.
I also get in music, in movies, across all mediums. I'm of the PTA opinion, and also the Cam at Matrix Reloaded opinion is stop clowning on people for putting fetishes into their art as if fetishes aren't the reason why
let
all
me
art
be clear.
exists.
Movies, that's fine if people are horny in movies. That's what porno is for, like that's why it exists. Books, like it's fine to be horny with books. There's once we start getting into other mediums though, I get a little worried, that's where we start trending to
I understand because there are some songs we're going to talk about in this episode where I agree with you that turned me into a Catholic nun, but we'll get to those.
I feel like that everyone reads like smut reads so much, like they're really good readers.
Okay, we're moving on from that comment, and
let's move on to our next song. It's 11.
I'm trying to process that.
No, don't try to.
It is a boilerplate horny Post Malone song, which means that it's like a 4.
Hey, Matty, why did we go down to number 11 and not
that's
number 12
the thing with Post Malone is that like
what's up with that?
He has a low
number 12 is Heat
like
Waves. We've already talked about Heat Waves, Rose.
I haven't been on pod and talked about Heat Waves, I don't think.
Rose, why are you just like antagonizing this episode and trying to make us talk about the worst song in the entire world? Not the worst song. I hate that song.
Because I'm being bullied tonight,
Rose,
and I want to take it out on other people.
Jackie. Sometimes all Rose can think about is poo. Okay,
it's true.
That's all she can think about.
I'm being bullied tonight, and I want to take it out on other people.
Well, Rose. The problem is that we have another song that we can make poo jokes about tonight, and you just won't let it into your heart, and that's okay.
You're stretching it. It's not nearly as good. I'm sorry. I hate to say it. It doesn't work nearly
At
as
number 10 is Harry Styles' Late Night Talking, which is Harry Styles. I did actually listen to this record about a month or so ago, because I went on a date with a girl that was a big Harry Styles fan. I felt like out of courtesy, I should listen to this.
This is how most men do.
This is how it works.
That's how it works.
This record is boring. It's a boring record made by a very boring artist, and this is a boring song. If you want to listen, I feel like why listen to this when you can listen to like some good old Sophistopop? Like go listen to fucking Prefab Sprout. Listen to Blue Nile, Prefab Sprout. Listen to Everything But the Girl. Like what? Or even new wave stuff. Go listen to Peter Gabriel. Go listen to fucking Aha. Like what? Like I wanted. It's just like
he literally.
I guess it's good. It's good that there's an artist that's like trying to like keep the torch up. But it's also like we're at a period of 80s nostalgia where I am so fucking sick of 80s nostalgia.
I don't want to be derogatory to people that like Harry Styles because there's a large sect of people that do, but
they're scary. They're scary.
This song is fine. I just want to put that out there. This one's pretty good, but like we're gonna get to one later.
I feel the exact opposite, which is that the other one I have way more tolerance for, and I find this one completely fucking like it's not even the 80s like. I'm sick of it as like the default mode because so many people are bad at it and there's such a just like but like that's the 80s sounds are always gonna at least like appeal to me, but this just doesn't work. Like I don't like this song at all, and I don't.
It's like whatever,
but like I think the tune on the other one and what the other one is going for instrumentally works much better for me. Like I think this is just like I fully did not like this song, and I think that this album is worse than just being kind of boring. Like I really liked the Stephen Hayden review of this album. If anyone hasn't read it for Uproxx, it's the title is Harry Styles is a really nice guy who makes really boring music. But the opening line is Harry Styles is a really nice guy. I know this because he told me himself over and over in his songs. like the whole like that he basically describes him as a human Ken doll that has just like sanded down everything about his personality to I'm nice and I will be nice to you and not be your boyfriend, but kinda like it's just this weird like I don't know. I find it so bland in not only an innocuous way, but just in a completely like vapid and like upsetting way. And I think that he has always I have always thought that it was overrated how much he had the sauce musically. solely because of how much he is like the most handsome and charming and like biggest celebrity of the 1D members. Like I just don't think he has the juice at all.
Two quick
Now Horn
comments
is better.
about this one. One, his music isn't interesting enough for him to dress the way he does, in my opinion.
One of my favorite tweets, the gender norms are beating his ass.
Exactly.
That is
Mhm.
that anytime a bad Harry Styles
listen,
fit.
I'd respect Harry Niles, Jesus Christ. Fucking.
I did say Niall Horn, who is better, the better
just-
1D member. I'll say.
Anyway, so I would respect
on.
Harry Styles dressing that way more if he would like get a fucking fashion sense. He does not have any fashion sense whatsoever.
Yeah, that's the thing is that like I've literally tweeted this, but like without wanting to just make fun of men who want to do gender non-conforming things, because I feel like you can lean really quickly into like that whatever
misogyny
and that sort of stuff. But then like what I've always felt about Harry Styles is that his gender non-conformity has always read to me as this is what you freaks want, isn't it? Like it always feels to me like he doesn't like the clothes that he's wearing, or if he does, like genuinely good for him. But he's just sort of like, oh, I'm going to do this
forcing
whole bit.
It feels like he's forcing
because so many of them feel like someone that doesn't actually know how they feel about the clothes that they're wearing, and they're just like, I want you, my stylist, to dress me in this way that is gender non-conforming, quote unquote, and is going to portray me as being sensitive and sweet and lovable for all ages and market demographics. Like, I just find it very lame, in addition to being not something that, like, he shouldn't get a million times more praise for those whack outfits than, like, actual trans people who are serving, is my essential take.
Yeah. Listen... No, I'm gonna save it.
Yeah.
Also, it looks like he's gonna be. It
I
feels like he's
Rose
gonna be
was about
dog
to say
shit.
something
And don't
evil
worry,
there,
darling.
and I'm glad that you restrained yourself.
Yeah, go listen to Peter Gabriel. That's my take. Go listen to the classic
anything,
Peter Gabriel
like,
records.
I just, oh man,
Yeah,
I really
like
don't.
I know it's such a boomer take to be like, oh, go listen to the old
Or
stuff.
go listen
but
to
like,
new
Literally,
people that
go
are
listen to
doing this
Hats.
shit.
Hats, like everyone is ripping off Hats. Everyone is ripping off
Or
Hats.
go
and
listen
it's
to
The
fucking
problem
Twitter
is
rip off.
no one listens to like this is like a lame. No one listens to albums anymore. It's just like we need to understand that, accept it. Like we're the weirdos, and like I know that like we're right, but we're also the weirdos.
I think no one like listens to albums front to back as the main way that they listen to music.
Yeah.
But I think that Harry Styles fans listen to this album. They listen to this entire album. And basically what happens now, and this,
Rob Sheffield,
and this is what reflects in the charts.
Matty,
like
do not invoke that name.
Yeah, don't invoke that evil man's name.
It's like Bloody Mary. If you say it enough times, he will appear behind
like,
you and start asking you
the point I'm making
what your
is
favorite
that,
Taylor
like,
Swift record is.
With this fucking chart, like, all of these songs are the biggest song in the world to the specific set of people that are tuned in to whoever this artist is, and to anyone else in America, they're like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, that is true for every single one of these artists, and that's just the way that music works now. And I think that doesn't mean that people aren't listening to albums. It means that people are listening to albums for the artists that they are already invested in, and they are already invested in those artists because it's a legacy artist of some kind, or it's someone that they found on TikTok or whatever, or they found on Instagram, or they know for what they discover in some other way. They discover because of the algorithm, whatever. And then
we are going to get to maybe the funniest one to show up on the top 10.
In their micro universe, in this world that only they exist in. Like, this artist is huge, and some of these like imaginary cultivated audiences become actually real, as we're about to talk about with the next person that we're talking about. But like I a couple of years
we're not
ago,
talking about that guy. We're not.
To segue into the guy. I'm sorry, Rose. We'll go as quickly through it as possible at the actual song, and then we'll make fun of the guy. But I need to tell this story. I don't even put. Just real quickly, like I worked did anyone know the artist Lauv, Lauv?
Yes.
I was discussing this in the Endless Scroll Discord today, but I worked a couple of Lauv concerts. He actually just put an album out like a week ago, I think. But the album before that, which is called How I'm Feeling Now, and has some of the corniest album art you've ever seen in your entire life, and is like the most late 2010s streaming bait album I think that's ever been made. I would even go so far as to say, like, it is an album that solely exists to fuel these like various vibe, mood, feeling related playlist. Like literally the album being called How I'm Feeling, and he's like, oh, each one of these songs is like a different, like everything down to the concept feels like it was tailor made to then fit neatly into the concept, the lyrics, the sound, the execution, like every single aspect of it. And I worked 3 nights of the show that was sold out, and it was like people really liked the songs. It wasn't like they didn't like the music, but they just kind of showed up to the Matty, what are you doing?
I was just going through Spotify. This guy Spotify.
One of those guys in the middle.
I was checking appears on, and it's like, okay, the fucking Black Bear, that makes sense. There's a reason why that makes sense.
What?
There is an album called Good News.
One of those guys in the middle kind of looks like Jake Novak. I'm sorry.
Jake Novak, and it's like, what is this?
This looks to me like it seems like a lot of these artists are Indian artists.
Yeah,
I know, but like, what the fuck is up with that cover? Like, I'm really confused.
I don't even.
Honestly, I don't know if that's an actual collaboration.
Sorry for the visual bit on the audio podcast.
I don't know if that's an actual collaboration, but that reads to me like cynically trying to appeal to another major international market. But anyways, the point of that story is that like you would see the people at these concerts, and like they were all excited, and they were all just like young people, but there wasn't really like a specific type of person that was there. Like every other show that you work at the Wiltern, it's like there is an archetype of person that goes to this concert, and then there are deviations from that archetype. At this show, it was just kind of like vague young people, and like I think that's exactly what happens. Is like you just get people that are all interested in this one song, despite the fact that they have no cultural context to like who this person is, or maybe they do, and it all comes from their Instagram or whatever. But this motherfucker that we're about to talk about, I have never heard of this man in my life. I thought I had heard of the featured artist, but it's not Daisy of Military Gun fame. It's a different Daisy. I wish it was Daisy of Military Gun fame. I was listening to
Pressure Cooker earlier today, and the banter at the beginning of that song is so fucking funny.
Yeah, Pressure Cooker rocks. But the song we're talking about next is allegedly called Sunroof, and the artist that created it is
by Abso Facto.
Is a man by the name of Nicky Youre. And that's spelled like you-are, like, but without an apostrophe. So it's just like Youre. And every single time you try to type it, it autocorrects to you-are. And this man does not exist. This is a psyop that's being done on us because they needed to replace Heat Waves with some other anonymous ass white boy of the week. And Jesus Christ, this song is so bad. I just
it's
is this a song
really
I've
just the
never heard
worst
this before?
It's the worst kind of like TikTok core. Like it's TikTok core that has not that has not popped up on my feed. Like a song we're going to talk about, that's definitely been on my feed a number of times. I have never heard the song until I put together the playlist for this episode, and I was just like, who the fuck is this guy? He only has 3 songs. Well, okay, I always got more now, but it's all remixes. But as of right now, he only has 3 songs.
Yeah.
This song, Sunroof, that we're listening to right now, which I don't think exists. A song called Sex and Lemonade, and then a song called Never Go Wrong.
It was his
Sex and Lemonade?
It was his second ever single, and on his Instagram that you can go to, like, there's nothing before that single. It's like, all right, getting ready. I mean, he's probably just deleted whatever posts he had from high school, but, like, it's like getting ready to drop this song, this mega famous song, and slowly from like November of last year to now, it has just been on a titanic climb up popularity to the point that this now has millions of plays, like how many is it up to?
Yeah, the streaming difference between this and it's like this as of right now, as we're recording, this has 211 million streams. The closest song, only 5 million.
And then the remix is the case where the remix of this top 10 Billboard hit only has 1,000 streams.
Well, it just came out.
I know, but
these just came out.
Today, totally. Even then, like only 1,000 for a song that is like top 10. Like nobody's going to hear these remixes though.
Well, I think that's the thing that people are learning about both TikTok and Spotify is that it makes fans of the song and not the artist. Like,
Yeah.
and that's what's happened with like 90% of the TikTok artists that got signed after blowing up on TikTok. Like, besides B Dooba B or whatever that fucking artist name is.
Bida Booby.
Bida I heard boobies.
Oh yeah, I saw. Speaking of, earlier today, I saw some social media accounts of popular music journal websites trying to like post about the new Gale song, and I'm just like, what the fuck are you guys doing? Don't encourage this.
We can't even get into that, but
it sounds like Nicky.
Because she name dropped Tame Impala in it. Like, that's the entire reason. They're just like, oh, she's got cred, guys.
But like, just finishing my point, like, because of the way this works now, you can have millions of people a fan of song Sunroof, and most of those people are probably, if you ask them like, hey, who's that Nicky Youre guy that you're listening to? They're like, I have no idea. I just was served this song on my Discover Weekly or on a playlist I listen to or on TikTok or whatever, and people just add this song to their summer playlist because it's clearly it just like angled it uphill, and then like, I don't know, like it just caught fire the exact right way. Like, once something gets rolling downhill, like, then it just becomes like, oh, people are just connected. And it also feels so tailor-made. Like, it definitely feels like it's riffing on, like we were talking about Sunflower earlier, Post Malone. It's that sort of archetype.
Matty, can we watch that video? I feel like it might be good to watch this to learn the songwriting process.
But it's also so much like shriller and louder and more obnoxious.
What's up? I'm Nicky Youre. My new song.
His eyes are so close together.
Live Ask Anything chat. Thanks to Romeo and iHeartRadio for having me on tonight.
His name is following the tradition of name preposition artists. Will.i.am.
How do you pronounce your full name with
the main one?
Hometown accent.
This is like
it's pronounced.
His energy is so rancid.
Youre.
Wait, it's
Nicholas Scott Youre.
I made it Youre with the Youre. So it'd be easier to pronounce, at least close enough. But my actual last name is Ure, pronounced Youre. Thanks for the question.
Youre.
Samantha from NYC asks, "What lyric?"
Samantha from NYC, like it's
okay. There's no. I'm not getting any insights.
It's important for listeners because this is an audio medium. If you have not yet, because I'm sure you had never heard of this guy, if you have not yet Googled Nicky Youre or looked at his Instagram account and looked at this man's face, and I'm gonna apologize for we're probably gonna be just like needlessly mean to the whatever. He's an industry plant of some variety, but whatever.
Yeah.
This motherfucker is
garden variety, would you say?
One of the most punchable faces I've ever seen in my entire life. Like, it's just for like the Always Sunny meme, his smug aura mocks me, has never applied more to a man since Ed Sheeran. Not have I seen a face that is this easily hateable than Mr. Nicky Youre. And like, going along with the tone of the song, which to me, like, sounds like if you hit like Rex Orange County with the AJR beam, like what if you, like, in the same way that what AJR was to car commercial music, Nicky Youre is to current vibey post Spotify R&B pop music. Like, that's what this song is to me, and is so clearly trying to be a quote unquote song of the summer, which is a thing that like only music publication writers and Daft Lemmy care about, and that song of the summer is locked up. It's Daft Punk's Get Lucky.
He looks like they were trying to cast for Timothée Chalamet, but it was a small town in the Midwest, and they just had to take the best thing that they could get.
Or they were trying to cast Timothée Chalamet, and the person had really bad eyesight.
It's like a weird mix of Timothée Chalamet and like Jacob Wall.
Yeah,
like
no,
some kind of mix of those
the
guys.
Jacob Wall eyebrows is dead on.
But yeah, this guy doesn't exist. I mean, I was like, I feel hesitant to bring up industry plant because I think it is a very overused term, and I think a lot of people use it incorrectly.
Exactly.
But this is definitely a case where it's like, okay, like what else am I supposed to call this guy? This guy who has like this fucking nobody who gets a big song out of nowhere. He's already on a major label. Like, okay, like
He's
it's an industry
playlist bait.
plant.
He's just like churn for the machine.
It's just, again, a major label A&R heard a demo or something, was like, all right, this is easily TikTok core, so we're gonna bump up, we're gonna pay some people to put the song on their TikToks.
It's also just it's not even like that simple. I really just think at this point, with the way that the algorithms work, in addition to the playlist, like they can just kind of flip a switch on stuff once things are
once you throw it on the right playlist, I imagine it just goes in automatically,
Yeah, totally.
Half the way songs just go number one now is either there's a fan campaign to like stream it 1 billion times, or it just gets thrown in the coffee shop, the playlist that every coffee shop in America uses.
Essentially, yeah.
But Nicky Youre is a guy that doesn't exist. But we're doing a brief interlude from the chart. A brief interlude. This is a guy that if you've been in our server for the past 2 or 3 weeks,
we've been
you've heard a lot about
steady.
this guy. You've heard a lot about this guy. And his name, and if you listen to One Star, the most recent episode, you already heard about this guy, but we're going to talk about him. But if you don't listen to One Star, we got to explain one of our new guys. And one of our new guys is Morgan Ganem. And this is, of course, a Gavin discovery.
Morgan Ganem style.
God damn it. This is a Gavin discovery, because Gavin, of course, is a part of a Facebook group dedicated to like boomers and stuff like that. And he came across a post of a woman posting a photo of herself when she was 16 years old with her and her Camaro. And of course, a bunch of, old guys ogling in the comments, despite, talking about an underage person, at least in the photo. And this woman goes, someone asks like, hey, do you still have that car? And she's like, yeah, I do. And it's in my son's music video. And who is that son? Of course, it is Morgan Ganem.
A man auditioning to be the next Nicky Youre. His name is Morgan Ganem. He's from Tulsa, Oklahoma. He is many things. We need to just give people an introduction to this man before they hear his music.
Sponsored by Arby's. He is a realtor.
He is a entrepreneur, musician, DJ, singer, songwriter. He is the regular DJ at Teen Night at Safari Joe's Water Park in Tulsa, Oklahoma. And most importantly,
I have one more thing.
Most importantly, as the visual context for the song that we're about to watch, and you should pull up the Socials music video while this is going on.
At the time, he was a white man with very long dreads who kind of looks like that that really offensive Adrian Brody bit from SNL.
Kind of. This is a man with real
almost dread- exactly.
This is a man with would appear to be real dreadlocks because he had them for many years, but it seemed when you look at him, it looks like he is wearing a fake wig. Like it just does, no matter how real it is. And most
importantly, the final detail to note about him is he sees you looking lonely on your socials.
Okay, we are just gonna play the song. We're gonna watch the video.
This song should be a number one hit. I have run the
song back at least 20 times.
This is a better song than Sunroof.
Yes.
Hey, I keep my eye on you.
Yeah, he is kind of close to that girl in that video.
I have watched the song like 50 times. It's so good.
I see you on Tinder looking lonely where your friends at. Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat. See you like that. Twitter, Instagram.
I mean, what do you say?
He does the dance so fluidly. It makes it look easy, but it's not.
Yeah, those moves are like so coordinated.
Yeah, we should get into the Oedipal factor of this situation.
The Gorilla's kid has really long sideburns. Has anyone seen that? I just noticed.
Which kid? Is the one the Gorilla's
t-shirt?
The
shirt has really long sideburns. Shout out to that kid. They're long.
But like, there's so many fucking kids in this music video. I don't know how he roped everyone in.
Oh my god.
It's so like, look how many people are in that audience. People are like amped about Morgan.
God, this is from August 2017, by the way.
That makes me fucking lose my mind. Like around the same time that we were all like losing our fucking mind, drinking Japan Dreads beers, this man was cooking up a masterpiece.
So true.
Matty, I posted a link in the Zoom
Wait,
chat.
no, that was 2018. I'm thinking 2017.
Let's finish socials and we'll. Of course, I believe he filmed this music video at Safari Joe's from the looks of it.
I also love that his quote unquote sponsorship with Arby's appears to be only a regional thing, and like because he's friends with some guy Jeff that works at like Arby's, and they set up something where like there are coupons for the water parks teen night at Arby's locations around Oklahoma.
Yeah.
God,
I can't believe this guy is real. This is a
he's like designed in a
unreal
factory.
gap discovery.
Honestly, the funniest thing about this is that like we have spent 3 weeks digging through everything this man has ever posted on the internet, which is a lot. And the whole time, this is a man with white dreadlocks from the middle of the country partying with mostly children every time you see him performing or doing a music video. And you're just like waiting for another shoe to drop. Not necessarily like this guy is a creep, but like maybe
something. There's got to be something, right?
This guy also is a Jesus guy, clearly. He has a song called God is Good that we can maybe listen to. But he like is from the middle of the country, is a Jesus guy, had white dreadlocks up until like February 2020. Like he there's a Barely March comment on the song 11 days ago. Love this one. Shout out to Barely March.
I am one of those thumbs up. Let it be known there are 6
Indieheads
thumbs
guy,
up.
Barely March.
When parents tell their kids to watch out about what they post online because anyone can look it up, it's because of people like Gavin.
Exactly, but like no matter how far we go back, and I don't think he's scrubbed his socials.
Wait, hang on. What does that mean? Go down. I feel like F3H55 no OHF X Orion Lamb 73 2307F comment liked by Morgan. Like Morgan liked.
You just activated someone's like,
that's what I'm saying is like I was about to get to it, but I think this guy might be like bait laid by like an FBI psyop just for us. They're,
honestly,
like, trying to infiltrate.
that is the thing, is everything about this guy, like every additional detail from the Arby's revelation to like just everything about him feels too good to be true, and we keep expecting to find like even like, oh, he posted like some kind of like all lives matter thing or whatever, just something like, but he's so innocuous. Like this man is just like a sentient grind set hustle meme that makes bad pop EDM music and DJs for teenagers. Okay, and then we started doing we started doing the socials mashups.
You started doing the socials mashups.
I wasn't going to do all of them, but yes, this is the most evil
figure out
one.
what this one's mashing up.
I love how fast he is in this one.
Camaro
It's like a hyper
mom.
pop song right now.
It does.
Calling your own mom Camaro mom is crazy.
Oh God.
The rave DJ turns it into a rap battle. I'm here to give women like my mama.
Putting Morgan and Jake together is like sending my specific brainworms into overdrive.
Okay, I can't do any more of that. I can't do any more.
At the end. Okay, but
Okay, we'll keep going. Oh God, so Jake Novak. Oh God,
I love him. I've come around to Jake.
Who's next? You decide.
Yeah, Morgan should be the next SNL cast member, in my opinion.
I agree.
I mean, I am friends with him on Snapchat now, and I don't want to message him because it feels like poking the bear.
Listen, all I'm saying is Morgan only has one hit. Jake's got a catalog, okay? He's got Bad Gun. He's got I Don't Want to Get Canceled.
I can't believe he mentioned again one of the current SNL cast members he name drops is fucking Chloe Fineman. Like what?
I
guess he did it for the rhyme, but like, what the fuck, man?
As we're talking about Jake Novak, for the listeners to know that within an hour of me entering the Chicago Pitchfork Airbnb, I was shown Bad Gun by Jake Novak for the first time. Just like immediately. And
so good.
Children dying in the schools. It's just like the worst shit I've ever seen in my entire
Jake
life.
Novak is an ideas man.
He is an idea. The ideas dial was in the hot position. You cannot say that the idea.
Yeah, let's just listen to Bad
No,
Gun.
Matty, this one's so much worse.
Again, we're not gonna watch it. We're not gonna watch it.
I want to get canceled. I would really like that.
Is that to the tune of I Want to Get Better by Bleachers?
We have so many songs that we have to get to. I am just getting a rave DJ ready based on a song we're getting ready to talk about. But coming up next, let's get back to the charts. Morgan got him. Look him up on his socials. A wonderful new guy.
Like who is that famous rapper that like commented on his marriage announcement?
Big Daddy Kane.
Yeah, for some reason, Big Daddy Kane follows him on his socials.
Yeah, it's weird because it simultaneously seems like he's a he's a little bit more popular than like you would think like he is, but it also seems like most of the people that have commented on that video that has like 120,000 views, it seems like most of the people commenting are like, I was in this, or like, oh man, I wish I could have been in this. So I kind of feel like that plus his social media tells me that he probably has some inflated view counts, most likely.
Yeah.
2018
I think Morgan
like
is legit. I think Morgan is a hometown hero. He deserves all the praise.
I mean, there was like an article written about him in some like local tiny Tulsa publication, like about the rising star Morgan Ganem. Like he's clearly taken over Tulsa, Oklahoma, youth related events essentially, and that's about it. And also Arby's.
In the 2030s, people are going to be reminiscing about the summer Morgan Ganem took over.
Yeah, people are going to be writing an oral history on the Morgan Ganem socials video, like the old, like the oldie one.
You weren't there for the sets at Safari Joe's.
I'm like genuinely disappointed.
No, it's a great idea, Matty. And
it's not letting me make it. It's not letting me make it. Someone else needs to do it.
Shouldn't.
Persevere.
Someone else wants to try to do it.
I can try to do it.
Because I think
we need to listen to I Want to Get Canceled. It's very important.
No, we don't. We need to listen to the other songs that are charted on the Billboard.
Let's get back to the charts. Yeah, we are currently almost an hour in, so
that's
we need to get back to the charts.
I thought this episode would take like an hour in total.
Number 8 is Mi Porto Bonito by Bad Bunny and Chinko Corleone. Let's listen to a little bit of that real quick. It's reggaeton. This is a genre I don't really get. Bad Bunny seems like a fucking awesome, chill guy. He's not only the biggest singer on earth, pretty much, also a giant pro wrestling fan, and has wrestled at WrestleMania and the Royal Rumble. He fucking rocks. I love this guy. Just again, I nothing to do with this music. I've only listened to a couple songs. As a guy, he seems like a really sick guy.
I would like to say right now on pod, I've mentioned it in the private chat, but I really respect Bad Bunny for doing with the song, committing to the 311 rule, where he has a guy who sounds like he's 3 feet tall on the song.
I appreciate it in concept. I was gonna say I don't like Mr. 3 Feet Tall on this song, and I like Bad Bunny much more. I think as far as like a mainstream pop reggaeton song, it's both like above average and like very solid, but not anything that's like as good as anything on like the Rosalia album or something like that from this year. But like I do like it a fair amount, and I agree. Like I'm not gonna pretend to be an expert in the same way Matty is not, but I definitely have more time for this genre than you probably, just because I listen to a lot more club music that is borrowing from this stuff all the time. Especially DJ Python has gotten me way more into like dembow and reggaeton inspired stuff and like fusing that with more modern club styles. And I think this at least does a good job of not being just like the stock reggaeton beat that like it just feels like they literally copy pasted it from another song. Like this feels like a really like interesting instrumental arrangement, and so even though I didn't like love the tune that much, like it's a pretty good song.
Yeah, good song.
Yeah, not much to say.
For a while,
our
I
next
used to get
song.
a Bad Bunny and Beach Bunny confused because I don't listen to Beach Bunny, so like I would just like flip flop them in my head. But I do know that Bad Bunny is the one that's a pro wrestler / reggaeton artist. I just didn't know what
Yes.
Beach Bunny was for a while, so I just kind of conflated them.
I have some friends that very much love Bad Bunny. Shout out to Michael and Andres.
The people that like Bad Bunny and the people that like Beach Bunny are very different. That is
Very
there is
different.
not a lot of Venn diagram overlap, is what I have now learned.
I could potentially believe there to be zero.
There's someone out. I mean,
No, for sure. Bad Bunny is also one of the biggest artists in
people
the world.
most likely to actually be in the middle of that Venn diagram, I think, is Twitter user Will for Thrill.
Will for Thrill.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Well then, let's move on to our next song, and of course, as we mentioned, I'm just gonna play it. You know it. It's Bad Habit, Steve Lacy. As we discuss, Heat Waves, of course, the running joke of Heat Waves has been sometimes all I think about is poo, and of course, Heat Waves no longer in the top 10 after a number of weeks in the top 10, a very long time. Jackie, this is dethroned Heat Waves, and why is it dethroned Heat Waves?
Because I wish I poo.
You're forcing it. You're forcing it so hard. This doesn't work.
The whole song is centered around a rhyme, like the moves, like all the rhymes from that first verse, like they all rhyme with poo, Rose.
You're forcing it though. That's the problem. Is it doesn't feel as good.
Well, it's part of why I'm forcing it is because I actually like this song. This is a good song.
This song fucking stinks.
Rose, you're just wrong. It's okay, and it's not because Steve Lacy is good. I don't like the new album. The new album.
This
is
user
mid.
is from Los Angeles, California.
Point
I would
taken.
agree with Rose here. I really don't like this song.
There's better Steve Lacy songs.
I like agree with all of you on principle, but this song has its hooks in me. Like it's just like I can't deny the fact that my brain is humming this song, and that when I'm thinking of like what do I want to put on. There have been a couple of times this week when I've just been like, I want to listen to Bad Habit. That is the thing I want to listen to, which is like. My relationship with every Steve Lacy album ends up with this, is I'm so excited going in, and I check it out, and I'm really disappointed. And then there are a couple of things in there that I'm like, okay, well this one part right here, if you just like look just at this, works really well. And if you just extrapolated this to a whole project and cut out the stuff that doesn't work, but like he's a couple projects in a row now is just such a fucking mixed bag. And like this time he changed it up by bringing in a lot more collaborators. And like when I thought that was what he would need to make a better album, but it just feels like so boring while also still being even more cringe lyrically than the last album. Like our friend Luke compared it to Childish Gambino, but hold on, F stop because this part's great. This is the great example. Like this shouldn't work.
I don't think it does.
This is fucking stupid. I'm
it
sorry.
Works. I love it every time. He sounds like Mark McGrath. It's so fucking like this is the this is the sound of the summer, people. Like this is. I understand why this song was a hit. I don't get why anyone likes the rest of the Steve Lacy album. I think it's really boring. Besides like one or two other okay songs, and even then, like there's just no energy to it, which was a lot of what I like about Steve Lacy. Besides just like the guitar tone, but like. I'm not sick of this sound when it's done well enough. Like, I'm sick of the bad imitators, and I'm sick of the Rex Orange County, like, playlist churn. But I don't think this is that. I think this is a really good pop song.
His vocals are grating to me.
I totally get that.
I've liked a few
Yeah.
Steve Lacy songs before. I think back in 2017 he had some decent promise.
I would describe his vocals as on the song as annoying, but they are not annoying me. Like it is.
Yeah,
it is.
no, totally.
It is a flavor of grating that is totally working for me right now.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I can fuck with some annoying vocalists. This is just annoying bad instead of annoying good.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, you know, sometimes I wish Pooh wanted me. So you know, it's yeah, the Steve Lacy. I mean, on one end, it's like it's great that he's blowing up like this. Like, I do think this is definitely like a different sound for the top, you know, for the top 10. And I think that's definitely appreciated. Like, where it's like, hey, here's like a very like This is not your typical pop song. It's not, flashy. It's like, this is like a very like, at least on the surface, a very like kind of DIY sounding song. It does not sound that much different from the material that, that we heard on the demo.
Yeah, it's DIY, all right. It sounds like shit.
Yes. Yeah, it's not professional. It's like I
don't even agree with that. I think it sounds a lot slicker than the demo.
It sounds fine.
I think the production on the song is good. The rest of the album, like the arrangements are just kind of like they don't have any energy to them, and so it's whatever. But like I don't think this song sounds bad. Just like putting aside lyrics, putting aside his voice, like I think the guitars sound nice on this.
Yeah, my hope is like that more songs like it break through into like the actual top 40. Like that's my hope. This song is like it's not the best Steve Lacy song. I still think
I
is
agree.
by far his best work.
I still believe in Steve. I know Rose is going to say that we're insane for like buying into the hype just based on the first EP, but it's not just based on the first EP. It's based on the fact that like Pride is one of the best Kendrick Lamar songs ever because of how well Steve Lacy works on that song. And like,
I also disagree with Jackie. You are just dropping take after take that I hate.
like every time he shows up under the guidance of like a professional adult that like puts him in the right place, like a Steve Lacy song can really, really work. I just don't his full length albums where he's given space to really stretch out and like try a bunch of stuff. A lot of the stuff he ends up trying either lyrically, instrumentally for one reason or another just ends up really clunky. Like I think the weakest part of the new Steve Lacy album is the lyrics and like how in general it sounds like as Luke described cringe Prince or like Childish Gambino R&B. But like I do think that on this song, I think the lyrics are generic enough and repetitive enough that it I don't really even think about it. Like I'm just like so in the groove of this song and its melody, and it's catchy. It's just stuck in my head. Like I can't get it out. What do you want me to do?
Mm-hmm. I do hope that like other stuff off this record becomes hits. Like I would love if Sunshine
That's the
being a
problem
hit.
is that I think this record sucks, and I like want this to be
okay. The album is not very good, but like Sunshine is a really good. Like
it's
better than Bad Habit.
That's okay. I disagree. I think Bad Habit's better than Sunshine. I think Sunshine is the only other good song on the album. I think the rest of the album is like worse than mediocre. I think it's bad album, not Bad Habit, but that's I even like I think Apollo, that last album, is a fucking mess, but that album had a lot more that I was interested in and wanted to go back to as compared to this album. Like besides Bad Habit and Sunshine, like I don't have any interest in returning to these songs.
Yeah. Let's move on. Let's move on to our next song. Number 6 on the charts. It is Jack Harlow's First Class. Which was peak number 1.
We are in the fart noise portion of the chart where I'm just going to be an annoying child because I am impatient.
When we get to about 40 seconds in, I need everyone to be silent, though. That's all I ask for the song.
I just don't give a shit.
I had not heard the song in full until I put it in this playlist for this.
I'd never heard a second of it until now, and I have nothing interesting to say about it.
Again, this episode was a very spur of the moment idea because I think we were going to do something else, but then it was like, okay, this is too much planning for something like so short notice. Like, we gotta all be in a better headspace. Like, especially if I'm coming out of being sick.
It was ill-minded Hobson.
That was when we can't. Oh, hang on. Shh.
I can see the whole city from this balcony.
The fucking 30 seconds to Mars Eagles speeches on this goddamn
like the same
song.
One. It is uncanny.
Jesus
I have
Christ.
nothing to say about this song. Like it is like drinking tap water. I'm just like, there's nothing here to talk about. You know, like the most interesting thing I can do right now is do the fucking Tom Hanks. He's what? You know, like that's
yeah, like Jack Harlow. The meta conversations and like writing that was done about the Jack Harlow album that was like trying to break down like why is this popular. All of that is more interesting than the out than
it wasn't
any
even that interesting is the thing.
And,
like,
and it wasn't even that interesting. It was just like, why do we have to talk about this guy? Like, why do we have to take him seriously? And the answer is just that like A, Elvis voice, he's white, and B, that like, I know you say this doesn't sound like Drake. They see him and they hear this song and they're like, we can fit him into the Drake archetype. And clearly, production wise, this song, more than What's Poppin' in the other Jack Harlow songs, is him trying to do a Drake style hit. And I think the beat is okay. I think the glamorous sample is like, God, this is such a like hacky thing to do, but it works just well enough. Only in that it's not Jack Harlow, and that Jack Harlow's voice is very not present on the hook of this song. And also they wait so long to let him rap that it's like, when I put on the song for the first time, I was able to vibe just long enough until he started rapping that I was like, all right, this isn't terrible. But then once he started rapping, I was like, okay, never mind. Like, he's just such a void of, and I know the whole thing about him is that like people think he's charming and people think he's handsome, but like none of it translates to him as a rapper. Like, he's a void of charisma.
I think he has the capability of being something kind of interesting. Like, I think everybody fucking says it, but his guest verse on that Lil Nas X song is like really good. I think it is.
Yeah, but I also think that's
really
just
good.
like him being put in a really great position to succeed with a good beat. And exactly. He does have a couple of charming moments. Like, I think what happened with Jack Harlow, from my personal experience, like the first time I heard about Jack Harlow was the song Tyler Hero, which, first of all, just the idea that it was a song about Tyler Hero, like, already had me on edge. I'm like, oh dear God. Yeah. Like, we're in.
Who is that?
He's a white basketball player. That is the
Matty. Can you pull up the Tyler? Just look up Tyler Hero tattoo.
Yes, very important to show Rose that. But he's just like the exact kind of white basketball player that like a fuckboy would like compare himself to. Like this man is Chet Hanks' favorite basketball player.
I didn't even notice the text.
No word,
no check.
Anyways,
what the fuck?
So I'm being introduced to him this way, and I'm just immediately like, my guard is on edge. Like, oh no, we've got another like Hoodie Allen on our hands. We've got another
Hoodie Allen,
another white rapper, very very derogatory. Not even a Macklemore. It seemed like we were in for something really bad. And then what happened to all of us, to the music industry, is that we just assumed that this guy was going to be big. And once he started getting a couple of decent hits, everyone was like, you know what? This isn't completely garbage. Wow, I'm surprised. Like, they put on a Jack Harlow song and they just didn't hate it. And I think What's Poppin' was just good enough as like a flagship song that the entire music industry was like, all right, we'll give this guy a run on this first album, and we're going to take him seriously, and we're going to see what happens. And what happens is the entire music industry critical sphere was like, fart noise. This guy stinks.
As soon as a white rapper better than Lil Dicky came out there, they're just like, we got to get on this.
I mean, the thing is, like, you can't really use Lil Dicky as a benchmark to put above, because they gave Lil Dicky so much more success.
Oh my God, they really did try for many years to make it happen.
TV show.
Well, that's the whole thing about Lil Dicky.
I think
the reason why
Earth was the killer.
That I fucking hate Lil Dicky is that Lil Dicky has literally said, like, in the interviews he's been doing since the TV show started, like, yeah, like, I liked rap, but what I really like is comedy, and I wanted to make a rap song because I wanted to figure out a clever way to get Judd Apatow to find out that I'm funny. And it's just like, God, like, that is why people hate white rappers, is they see it's like, oh, you're taking black art and cynically using it to propel yourself, and you're shielding yourself in a thin layer of self-deprecation.
It's just like, this is a conversation that has been had 10,000 times before. There's nothing new we can add.
Exactly. It's the relitigation of the same argument.
We are deep in the middle of the fart noise section of this chart where I just don't care. I don't care.
This whole playlist is like a testament to the implications of what happens when you let emaciated white boys get too famous.
Yeah.
And yeah, go on, Jackie.
Which is why Morgan Ganem needs to hit #1 for his song Socials, you know?
Yeah.
Like, listen, I know what people are going to say. It's a song from 2017. Well, fuck you, okay? We have a song from the 1980s here. We can get Morgan up top.
It's true. I pointed this out when it happened. It's annoying that the only people that get negative Pitchfork reviews now are the easy targets. When the Jack Harlows come around is the only reason when someone gets a really, really low score anymore. But it's also like, I do think Jack Harlow is the kind of artist that is deserving of that score, both in terms of the quality of the music, which I didn't finish this album, but I didn't finish it for a reason. It was so fucking just not even. It's like that Alphonse review of the Khalid album where he says, "How can you get mad at air conditioning?" It's just like, how can you get mad at something that is so empty that it's just like, what is there to even latch onto? And that's kind of how I felt about it. And I think the review does a good job of saying like, this is so insipid and vacuous, but it's also like completely just like the couple of things it tries to do are so like terrible. And the fact that Drake shows up on this album, and when Drake shows up, it's like a breath of fresh air and energy is such a testament to how bad that fucking album is. Because when Drake shows up on the song, he shows up on this chart. It does the exact opposite.
Yeah. Well, let's move on. Let's move on
to
our next song
because I'm done talking about Jack Harlow.
I don't want to talk about this next song either.
Wait, we don't have to talk about it too long. Our next song is "It's Features Wait for You" featuring Drake and Tems.
I'm very glad that the song that we're talking around that everyone knows is on the charts. I'm glad that song is here this week. That we have a certified classic song to be the best song of the week. Because otherwise I would be telling you all now that I think this Future song is the best song of the week. I'm sorry.
Oh god.
I'm sorry.
This is fucking...
I'm not mad. I get it.
There's a very strong case for it.
This is tap water.
You're wrong, Rose. This is one of, I mean, the Drake part of it is terrible. First of all, let me get that right off the bat.
Literally, like, the second it ended, I didn't remember a single second of it. I'm sorry.
Okay, that's fine. Just like, let me say what I think about it. I think it's good. I like it, and I think that it's I don't think this album is good, and I agree with your sentiment that, like, besides the Tems sample, which is the one thing that dates it specifically in time to 2022, like, everything else about this song could have appeared on any number of other Future albums. Here's the thing, though. Those other Future albums are good, and this is a Future song in the mold of what the best mold of Future songs are, which are the ones where he gets to be sad over a melodic beat like this. And I think the interplay between his voice and the Tems sample is fucking magic in the way that, like, Codeine Crazy is magic. I really, really, really like this song.
It's tap water because it goes down real easy.
Exactly.
I think the song's pretty good.
I also like
by
the
virtue
beat.
of being a Future song.
It's just like a more lush beat than Future usually is over, and I really think it like highlights a lot of the melodic sensibilities of his voice and how deep, while being still really deep, and then pairing that with Tems, who, like, I don't love Tems' stuff that I've listened to, like, besides like a couple of the features, and like Tems is the person that's covering "No Woman No Cry" on the Black Panther Forever soundtrack. In a couple months, so like she's gonna be fucking everywhere coming in the next couple of years as a sort of hybrid Grammy bait / reggaeton pop artist. But she's actually very talented and has a very pretty voice, and I think this is not an actual feature. It's like a song of hers that's sampled in this song, and she's credited as a feature as a result. But I think besides Drake, which, like, Drake on this song is just like, Jesus Christ, dude, I can't do this with you anymore. Like, it's just the same shit, and you're not charming or funny ever now, which you were.
I think America is finally getting itself free of Drake. I think
we're starting to reach a saturation point, but the problem is that he'll still show up on something like this, and as a result, this will become the song that breaks out from the Future album, just because, like, it's got more eyeballs on it with the Drake feature, and that's why people will continue to have Drake features on their album, even though he's not that good ever anymore.
I mean, what I'm saying is, like, I think 2 albums from now, maybe 3, we're not going to be hearing Drake anymore. But
I feel like people have been saying that.
No.
Listen, did you not see what happened with the new one? Like, it just fucking disappeared.
I'm telling you that
you're right.
That's just what happened to all albums nowadays. And if you were to go out to bad nightclubs and hookah lounges right now, they are all playing that fucking Drake album. And also that, like, whenever, like, I'm just telling you, don't get caught in the trap that I got caught in when Views came out, and I hated that album, and everyone liked it.
The thing about Views is I heard it in public.
Look, Rose,
listen, you told us today that you never heard Mr. Brightside.
I
Let-
didn't
let
want to
us-
bring
let
that
us
up.
speak.
Brightside until a couple years ago, but I did hear the fucking "Why you gotta fight with me" at Cheesecake. I love to go there song in public. I worked at a fucking pizza place, and they would play like pop songs from a few years ago, like as of that time. So it was like 2017. So they were playing like 2016 through
Drake was
2014
definitely
pop
still
songs.
popping.
And the songs I heard the most were 4 or 5 Seconds by Kanye West and Rihanna.
Good song.
Shape of You by Ed Sheeran.
Evil
Good song.
Evil song. Worst pop song of the
One
last 10
Dance
years.
by Drake. So many fucking times. Like so many versions of One Dance.
Look,
Okay, but
One
the
Dance
point I was
is good.
making.
just the thing. Here's the thing with Rose. I agree that the most recent Drake album definitely a flop record. Like that is a record that like even for a Drake album,
I really
I also
completely
would push back on that a little, but just go ahead.
it is for by Drake standards, it is a flop record. It is very much a record that just it came and went. Like
Also didn't do well out for it.
I think it's very similar to like Dawn FM, where it's like he was not really like he was like, okay, this album is not going to be a big chart success. Like he knew that going. It was a surprise release.
It still
like,
feels like it had much
all
more
at
of an
once.
impact than like a Dark Lane demo tapes or Care Package and honestly,
Agreed.
it's not as
because
big
like
and
both of those were like fucking demos, weren't they? Like demos.
Those are relatively not like real.
That's different.
But like this is like, you're right, it is sort of like a mixtape, and especially because it's all in one format and it's like him doing the dance album thing. But the point I was making is just, I don't want you to get caught in the trap that I got caught into, which was that Views was so bad, and that was the end of me on hip hop forums, right? Like that part of that album is how I got off hip hop forums, because I was just like, I can't be surrounded by people who think this is a good album. I'm out of here.
Well,
But like you're still not like I would. So that happened, and I'm like, okay, this Drake album is doing well, but this album is so fucking bad that this guy is on his last legs, right? Like, there's no way he's gonna continue to have more and more and more hits. But Rose, it's like Donald Trump. It's like all of us right now convincing ourselves that he's going to go to prison, and guess
I'm
what?
not convinced.
Guess what? It's
Once.
the same fucking thing with Drake. It's like, oh, I wonder how Drake is going to wiggle his way out of this jam. Well,
He's
nevertheless,
not wiggling.
like this.
That's the
He's
problem.
too big to
He's
fail.
not doing the.
He is
he's
too
not
big to
doing
fail.
the
That's the
wiggle.
thing. And
He's doing
also,
the
here's
Tootsie
here's
slide.
the
The
fucking
Tootsie
thing.
slide.
Like views was bad, yes, but like it still had fucking monster hits. So I get why he kept the momentum going up after that one. Scorpion, I get it. That had hits. This album had nothing. Nobody talked about a single song on this.
it doesn't.
The thing is it's too early to call. It's too early to call.
Honestly, and you're right for the most part in that none of the dance songs have taken off the way that they were supposed to. But I also think that they are taking off in the way that Drake literally intended them, which is that Drake wanted to make music for the clubs that he literally goes to in the summer in Ibiza. Like Drake,
Matty, do me a favor.
Go ahead.
Just go to the Hot 100 page. Search Drake's name. Just Control F. I want to see how many he pops up on.
But the thing with this album is that like we live in a bubble in the same way that all these people that listen to Nicky, Youre live in a bubble. Like we live in a bubble that is mostly done with Drake. Like most of us are not really tuned into like current rap music, and we're also not that tuned into pop music, and so we're just at the moment where a Drake album comes and we all do the discourse for a week, and then we move on from every single thing that isn't like Beyonce. Like most things, even the biggest artists don't have a lot of staying power anymore, but I promise you that all fucking long at like obnoxious Vegas pool parties and shit, they are playing these Drake dance songs. Like I promise you that a million bad deep house producers have made remixes,
but I just can't imagine like people jamming them, because like I have like
Rose,
never
I promise
been.
you.
I have not been like one of those people who like goes on rap forums every day like you people. So I can't. I like.
It's not even a rap forums thing.
Like, even not being in those spaces, I still heard a lot of talk about Drake. But like this time, I heard nothing. That is why
I'm not even talking about rap spaces or rap forums with this album. What I'm talking about is that there are
shitty clubs.
There are clubs that you will never set foot in your life that play house music that is so much worse than the Drake album that the Drake album will feel like a breath of fresh air.
I have lots of friends.
That is where this album is going to thrive and is thriving. I promise you. Like even though it's not doing well on the radio because these songs aren't. Like, radio stations are still not going to play a dance song.
I would love to hear some of those worst club songs. I really do.
I have lots of IRL friends that have posted Drake songs onto their Instagram stories recently. When I stop seeing those, I will begin to hear arguments that he's dead.
Right now, what I'm just imagining is a bunch of GTA NPCs dancing.
Literally, Rose, like hustle grind set memes still get millions of likes, right? Those people still listen to music. Those people still have Spotify accounts. And they listen to Drake still, even though he is culturally irrelevant in many ways.
Yeah. Their Pitchfork year-end votes count the same as ours. Can you believe that?
I'm sorry.
All right, we gotta move on. We need to fucking move on.
The phrase hustle grind set activated me in a way I didn't expect.
Let's talk about
number 4,
a song that a new up and coming artist.
An artist who is
realistically what can we say about this song that what can you say about this song?
Decades of discourse have led to this moment. 4 dipshits who have just been talking about the hustle grind set for several minutes, trying to discuss one of the best pop songs ever written.
Yeah, I don't think I'm even gonna try.
I'll just leave
it to the music.
I'll just say it now, like, it's good, Jerry. It's good, Jerry.
Well, all music in Stranger Things is good, so by virtue of being in Stranger Things, this song is good.
Kate Bush is good.
Weird Al's pretty good.
Yeah, I think the discussion of the song is that, like, of course, like as we've seen in recent years, it's not crazy when an older song gets big on the charts. Obviously, Christmas time, that's when, Mariah Carey gets number 1 on the charts again every year. It's going to happen for the rest of our lives.
Yeah.
But it's still pretty fucking crazy that this song is not only as high as it is, but it's staying there. Like this, the most recent Stranger Things season, like ended like a month ago. This is still in the top 5. Like, what?
I think the genuine answer to that is that it's different than the Mariah Carey phenomenon, because even though like Kate Bush was very popular in the 80s, it's not like
she's being discovered by people.
But it's not like she was a cult, like a cult artist in the 80s, but she was also not like the biggest artist in the world. Like this song peaked at like 30 something on the Billboard charts at the time, and then it hit a new peak when Stranger Things happened, and then it hit number 1. And like I think a lot of that is like, yes, you have the entire generation of people on TikTok via Stranger Things, via the internet, discovering this song and Kate Bush for the first time. You also, I'm sure, have like 20-something, 30-something adults that like never had a Kate Bush phase, or even older people that like knew kind of about Kate Bush that like all of a sudden are deciding to get into Kate Bush for the first time via the easiest way to get into Kate Bush, which is just like her most undeniable classic banger of a song. And like it just like there was room for Kate Bush fandom to grow in the world, like even though she has become like this like super duper canonized person in critical spaces over the years. Like we forget that like a lot of people have not listened to Hounds of Love, either people that were not alive in the 80s or even people that were alive in the 80s. Like a lot of those people never got into Kate Bush, right? So like I think that it does make sense that like once fed into just like the whole cultural zeitgeist in like 3 different ways, that this song basically just took off in the way that like if Nicky goddamn Youre can get a viral hit, Kate Bush can get a goddamn viral hit. Like
this part right here, every fucking time, I'm just like, oh.
Also, shouts out to Fiona Apple one time, one of the great lyrical reference moments.
Oh yeah. The song I got a fucking tattoo.
Yeah, it's a great song. What else is there to say? It's still, I mean, it's going to be very interesting going forward, like what songs of a similar caliber / time period are like Is there going to be a song that hits the charts as big as this song has? Like that's going to get featured in like...
It's partly that this is literally the end game of the 80s nostalgia wave that we've been living through for fucking since Taylor Swift's 1989. Like, right? Like this is... We've been actual 80s songs. This has back on this has been the flavor of the week for years now. We're living through a time where now people are listening to more old music than new music on most streaming services, and so of course, like, yeah, this would happen. Like, it just makes perfect sense to me in every way. And also, like, even though, like, whatever, it is like kind of weird to have like the Zoomers be like ZOMG Kate Bush. It's also like, how the fuck did you discover Kate Bush like late? Like, there were some people doing that were like 29, and it was like, motherfucker, you did not live through Kate Bush. Like, you got into Kate Bush because you heard them you either saw Hounds of Love on like an indie essential list on like a subreddit or something, or like whatever. Like, you're not cooler than those teens. Like,
yeah, that is my main issue with the indie community. It's like thinking that you have like more things to say about the culture, that your opinion's more valuable because you heard like Celebration Rock when you were in college. It's like,
I mean, this is just the mindset of like elitists since forever. Like, so
yeah,
they made a whole fucking movie about it. It's called High Fidelity or whatever the fuck it's called. I don't know.
Yeah, I was gonna say that like I do feel like certain cultural things have made this worse over time, though. Like the Garden States of the world that have made that problem.
Don't invoke that.
That have made that problem even worse about people thinking that like not only are you cooler than other people for liking new music, whatever. Like the Shins will change your life. Like that.
There's some girl will literally put headphones on you and be like, "Hey, have you heard the Shins?"
Anyways,
I'm blaming all of this on James Murphy.
When Garden scene sounds like an Ivan tweet.
It literally. I mean, in many ways, Ivan's oeuvre is like Garden State anti, essentially. Like, if you took that compound and used it for good instead of evil. But we can't discuss that. We have to get to, unfortunately, another fucking Harry Styles song. Although this is I think you guys disagree with me. I like this one way better than the other one, but it's not good.
It's like Aha's Take on Me was put through a Brita filter.
Come on, Mary.
The Brita filter.
We want to say goodnight to you. That is the average Harry Styles fan that we just heard. By the way,
who fucking cares? Like, again, like we've reached this playlist is just a big who fucking cares. Like, I signed on to this because I was like, oh, I haven't heard any of these songs. Maybe there will be something interesting going on. It's just like, who fucking cares?
See, yeah, I my review of this song was not that I like it, but like that I should be the one that's sucker for this song, because this exact flavor of tap water indie is my favorite kind of tap water. I love this tap water. This is giving me some beach fossils tap water vibes, basically. Like, it feels very like twee indie, but then filtered through exactly what you're saying, that kind of Take on Me up tempo, like, and I like the kind of washed out production of it, but Harry Styles is once again Go Girl giving us nothing. Like, I like this melody a lot more than the last song, but his vocal performance of it is just like, so, I don't know, like, it's not exciting. Like the one what's that song, like Watermelon Sugar? Like, I didn't hate that song, and that kind of briefly didn't talk me into Harry Styles, but maybe be like, okay, maybe this guy won't be so bad. But everything I've gotten since then tells me that song was a total fluke.
I like grade these songs on a scale of like, if I was working at Dick's Sporting Goods again and I heard it on the speakers, would I be happy? Would I be sad? What would I feel? And for a lot of these songs, I think it was like, oh yeah, that'd be fine. I think this song would grade on me. And Harry Styles is usually a pretty pleasant retail core artist for me, at least by that definition. And this song is just, he's not doing it on Harry's House.
Yeah, this one's boring.
Like, I agree. It's very boring, like, it's boring in a way I find
very
pleasant.
Boring. Like, oh, look at me, I can have like a fucking Strokes melody or whatever. Like, all right, man, I don't care. You have no personality. There is nothing behind these eyes. I don't see a personality here.
I really, really hate that hook. It's so limp.
I like that hook better than the other fucking hook, though. Like,
no, the other one it got something going on with it at least.
I disagree strongly, but okay.
It's just I'm so tired of this playlist. Like I can feel the life draining out of me. I could right now go and listen to like fucking, I don't know, System of a Down's Toxicity for the second time, you know? Like I could be having fun with that. Instead, I'm listening to Tap Water.
But you're having fun doing it.
No, I'm not.
I'm gonna read. I will agree that, like, even though I do happen to like this particular Tap Water, that like this album is not good and Harry Styles is not good. And I would just like to read real quickly a section from Stephen Hayden's article just to really hammer home how great it is. He's talking about a song where it's like, maybe we can find a place to feel good, he sings, and we can treat people with kindness, find a place to feel good. Do I dispute the message of the song? Of course not. Nobody can, and that's the point. It's bulletproof brand banishing. Finding a place to feel good is good. It's the equivalent of a corporation tweeting out a social justice slogan. What it's not is compelling art. As I played Harry House, I kept wondering, has Harry Styles ever been a bad boyfriend? Has he ever said the wrong thing or had an impulse that is impure, untoward, or selfish? Has he ever felt like not taking a walk through the park on a Sunday afternoon? Really, dude? A song like Boyfriends would sound disingenuous or even creepy if it was on a John Mayer record, because we know John Mayer is a flawed human being. Like, it's just like, he's so desperately trying to present himself as an empty Ken doll that he's like sucking out whatever Harry Styles is like when you hang out with him in private. Like, that is not being reflected in his music because he's sanded off all of those edges for public consumption. Like,
yeah,
that's Ken doll. He's also been famous for a really long time, since he was young. I'm not.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
he's just gotta fuck you up.
He's like media trained, but for like music wise, like his music feels like it's media trained.
Yeah. It hits all the right notes, all the right, the 80s nostalgia, but also a little bit of that, the 2000 nostalgia, because again, it's got a very Strokes-like melody,
and
like
2010s nostalgia with the kind of dreamy, washy production. Like,
yeah, it's just it hits
this song,
it hits all the right notes.
Song, winky winky wink. This song could have been on a FIFA soundtrack. Like, it wouldn't be crazy for this song to be on a FIFA soundtrack.
Oh no, 100%.
Oh god, yeah, we can't even get into that. But that's a future episode in of itself, of course. Literally, that's on our schedule for at some point this year. If again, we've talked about FIFA Core a lot. Max is it's coming together. But let's move on. We have got two more songs left, and I think two songs again. One was just number one is now the current number one. Of course, number two right now, About Damn Time from Lizzo, her big comeback single that initially wasn't really doing super well on the charts. Initially I was like, oh, this is surprising, but it eventually made a natural rise up the charts. The
intro little ditty sounds like You're Fire by Magdalena Bay, and every time I hear it, I wish it was You're Fire.
You do not like Magdalena Bay anymore, of course.
I could probably find solace in their studio stuff.
I was shocked how much I liked this song, as generally like a pretty Lizzo skeptical person for the most part, and also someone that has repeatedly litigated my thoughts on the quote-unquote disco revival, dance pop revival, which of course we're gonna have to do twice in a row right now. But I will say, as far as straightforward, like, classic disco style stuff goes, this is a lot closer to like the new Jessie Ware song than I was expecting it to be. Like, it's very well executed and actually does feel lively and warm in a way that like is the thing I find most lacking from all of the stuff. Like, I do think that the Dua Lipa disco pop album is better than the earlier Dua Lipa stuff because it has like a POV, but still that kind of pop is like very sanded down and like just like it lacks the dynamism and the energy and the just like effervescence of disco music, and it turns disco into like a formula. And I think that this song avoids doing that. Like, all the riffs feel really kind of like the texture feels tangible, but it also feels very slick. Like it's exactly in the right zone where it's really smooth and goes down easy, but like yeah. Still the problems with Lizzo are there, where it's like, are her lyrics a little corny and on the nose? Yes. And like I think that my friend and high school classmate Claire Schaefer did a really good job of reviewing this record for Pitchfork, which I was happy to hear from her, that apparently the Lizzo fans did not harass her for her not entirely positive review of the album. But like, she highlights in that review that it's like, you shouldn't discount like what people get out of Lizzo's kind of self-empowerment messaging, because it really does resonate with a lot of people. But like, but like the review does a really good job of balancing that with like the drawbacks of her kind of approach. But I think the main thing I took away from this song was, I was just like, oh man, the lyrics on the Beyonce album and the Lizzo album aren't as different as you would maybe think they would be, as Beyonce approaches being a 40-year-old woman. Like, I do think the opening lyric on this song makes me roll my eyes a little bit, but it's like, that could have been on Renaissance. Like, I do think in general, like, it's inevitable that it's going to get compared to Renaissance, because they're both doing this disco moment at the same time, and they're number 1 and number 2 in the charts right now. But like, I think this holds its own surprisingly well, and I think Lizzo does a great vocal performance in this song, as she usually does.
It's really hard for Lizzo to escape the idea of target back to school commercial core.
Totally.
And this song does not do any favors in terms of escaping that zone. I would agree with you that I think this song has a lot more personality than I've heard from her. I don't remember the name of her past album, but I did listen to it, and it does feel like a little maybe calculated, as you say, but if people are getting a message out of that, then I can't be the one to like discount that, because obviously everyone listens to music in different ways.
Yeah, and I think with the thing with like what you're saying, like, it doesn't transcend being like the more commercial version of a thing that I would rather just listen to actual disco. But like, I do think that if you heard this come on at a wedding or like some kind of place where you were not in control of the music, you'd be like, okay, I can get down with this. There's nothing offensive about this, and the groove is actually there in the way that it needs to be. Even more so than some of maybe the next song we're talking about. I don't know. What do you think about this song, Matty?
I think there's some stuff here that is genuinely like really like great. Like a lot of the like the chorus is just it's a great chorus. Like it sounds great. Like it is the perfect kind of like, it hits that kind of Bruno Mars like 70s nostalgia where it's like it's very tastefully done, and it's just good. It's just good music. Although the little like the obviously the part of the song that's gone like more viral, what can you do? But I think there's some genuinely really inspired good stuff here. Some stuff that doesn't work as well for me, but this is a fine song. I have very little issues with it. Although of course the tweet, Lizzo is the new Macklemore, of course, continues to haunt me forever, as I still think it rings true. Although I feel like it's like they capture very similar energies, but Lizzo just like knows how to be a pop star better than Macklemore did.
Also, Lizzo's
like,
brand of cringe is like it's a very different kind of, like, I think
exactly.
Have we gotten
much
any
more media
photos of
savvy.
Lizzo putting on some disguises?
Yeah, the thing that rubs up against Lizzo is the sort of media managed non, like the whole idea of selling someone's authenticity to you in a very neat package. And the whole idea of like, oh, this person's not like the other pop stars, they're real. And I think we rub up against that. That's very different than Macklemore, which is just like the time-honored tradition of American culture being like, hey, let's all pay attention to this goofy white guy. Like, that's a very different sort of like, and his was always sort of more a ship doomed to fail, where I think the thing that rubs up against with Lizzo is it's like the same thing that, not to reference Mike Peters again, but like he was talking about, like, the Marvel shows aren't bad, but you don't want to watch the Marvel shows because you feel like if you even watch 1 second of those shows, you're like encouraging Marvel to greenlight 7 more of them. And that's kind of the thing with Lizzo, is it's just like, yeah, this is fine, but like, is this just going to be everything? Like, is everything just going to be like bland empowerment core? But I do think that the stuff I've heard from this new record, I haven't listened to the whole thing, it seems like she's added a little bit more, like, personality, not only in terms of the lyrics, but more in terms of like the sound of it. Like it has kind of a POV.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think it would be unfair to say that like Lizzo isn't trying to improve like her craft
Totally.
or whatever.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like I think like I don't remember her like come up exactly, but like she was putting in the work.
Oh yeah. Definitely.
Yeah. This is a fine song. It's definitely one of the better Lizzo songs I've heard. I think it's
I
definitely better
agree.
than
I
like
like
the
it
stuff
more
that
than
got really big.
any of the big
Like
singles.
More Than Truth Hurts, and what was the other big one
Juice,
that got big?
Good as Hell.
Juice is fine.
Juice.
Good as hell. Yeah, it's
We're
better than
still
like Truth
talking
Hurts and
about
Good
the
as Hell.
song. I haven't said a single word up to this point. Like my brain shut off. I just went like,
That's fine.
I have a lot to say about the last two.
I do have a lot to say about this. I
Rose,
like this, and I don't have anything to say.
I have spent nothing but for the last 2 weeks, nothing but thinking about like the role of dance music in pop music, right? Like I am really far down the Beyonce discourse rabbit hole, Rose. I unfortunately have a lot of thoughts about
like
this.
see I tuned out. Something broke in my brain where I just like can't care about the discourse anymore.
I don't even care about the discourse really. I care about my own feelings about it, which we can get to.
I just
let's move on.
There's just like a myriad of reasons where I just like don't give a shit anymore.
All right. The number one song in America right now, of course, is Beyonce's "Break My Soul," which, up until the album drop, was hanging in the top 10, but like, just didn't. I don't think it hit number one until now.
Yeah.
So, which is a bit surprising, but it's
released
surprising
late in the
enough.
week. That was like the thing.
Yeah, but it's had a couple weeks, but still, of course, it makes sense. Again, it goes number one with the album drop. "Break My Soul," Beyonce. I have gone way back and forth on this song.
Yes.
Tap water.
The first time I heard it, I was like, eh. In the context of the record, it's like, okay, it's a little better in the context of the record. It's perfectly fine. I think Lemonade is still her best work. I think she really tapped into something there, but it makes sense that she's moving on doing something else.
My problem is just I can't.
That's actually one of your worst takes, Matty.
I don't think I've listened to a full Beyonce record. I just like I can't bring myself to care. I feel so deeply disconnected from this music entirely that I'm just like, I'm never gonna find a reason to enjoy it, so I might as well just like not have an opinion at all. And like this song continues to convince me that just like I don't need to care. I don't need to care.
Just to push back, Matty, your Lemonade opinion is bad. The self-title is so much better than Lemonade in every way.
I never got the Love or Self-Titled. I never got it. I think Lemonade's way better.
That's fine. I think Lemonade's overrated, and I think more of that is about like the narrative and the visuals and the everything else around it than it is about like I don't think those songs are there in the way that they like should have been, but oh God, I have so many feelings about this song and this album that like, as I've said before, I could give like a multi-year long screed, or I could just say like, it's fine. And like, but like, I do find it interesting, like everyone's responses to this album and like this as a career pivot for Beyonce. And I think most of the writing about this album has not been that great, honestly. Like, I think a lot of people are either just doing the classic, like, full Beyonce praise of it, or they're people like the Resident Advisor writer who wrote, like, a really nuanced review of it and, of course, got harassed by the Bayhive, which is my least favorite part of Beyonce. But I also don't want to, like, put that on Beyonce, because Beyonce's not fucking telling those psychopaths to like go harass the Resident Advisor
Beyonce's
writer.
too big of an artist for her to give a fuck about Resident Advisor.
Totally. Like I would love it if like Taylor Swift and Beyonce like used their army of foot soldiers in a more, and Taylor Swift's more willing to use them than Beyonce is, but I did not like this song at all when I first heard it. I was just like, but I also had like too high expectations for what the Beyonce dance record was going into the single, because like I do like Beyonce. I like several of her albums, especially like 4 is just like a fucking awesome pop album. But like I have wanted to love a late period Beyonce album and never quite get there. Like the self-title is really good, but like it's not something I go back to a ton. And then Lemonade like didn't really work for me, and the Carters was so boring. And like I've wanted to like a Beyonce album, not so that I can be part of the critical Illuminati uplifting her as like our most important generational artist, but like I just want to have fun. Like I more than anything going into this album wanted to not be a bummer and did not want to be the person that was like pushing up my glasses and going, actually, this isn't real dance music. Real dance music is blah blah blah. Like
He's only from the DC hardcore scene.
Exactly.
Let's get that clear.
Exactly. Like I just didn't want to be a pedantic dork about this. And then Break My Soul came out, and I'm like, oh, I'm not having fun the way I want to have fun. I'm being too in my head about it. And the more time I've just sort of like lowered my expectations for this album and this artist and this song in general, and just sort of like let it be what it is, which is like a very fun dance pop album. I like Renaissance. I still think it has just like a ceiling in terms of that it can't break through its own self-control. Like it is so studied and so like obsessively like trying to show you how much it knows about the history of dance music that it can't not feel like a homework assignment in some ways. And I think that prevents it from being like a truly fun dance pop record. And I also think that there's like so many cooks in the kitchen and so much polish on this music that it does suck a little bit of the like free spirited life that this album is trying to sort of like embody. Like this wants to be the have fun with the girlies Beyonce album, and like I don't think it's quite fun enough for me to like fully embrace this as like this is Beyonce's best work yet. This is a definitive masterpiece. But like if any of these songs come on in a public space, I am not only not going to be mad, but I'm going to have a good time. I think this song is just fun enough, and also I think Big Frida helps to carry this song just enough to like I'm having a good time. I think the Robin S sample is like so overplayed. I want us to find another fucking house dance crossover hit to sample in big songs. Like I'm just sick of it. But I also think that like whatever, it's so much better than any of the songs on the Drake album to bring back that. Like I'm willing to give it a pass.
My brain just like music like this that like so heavily absorbs the discourse bubble, like it's just like trying to listen to it uncritically, just like doing it without any thoughts in my brain feels like attempting to do my taxes. I'm just like this, I feel like I'm doing this more out of obligation than out of any sort of joy. Like
but that's what's ruining this record for you. Like this should not be an obligation, this should be fun. Like,
well, this doesn't feel fun either is the thing. Like I feel nothing listening to the song.
But I also, yeah.
Like, I try to erase my brain of any discourse. I'm like, okay, we're going to go in unpoisoned. And like I go in and I just feel fucking nothing. I just like, and I like dance music.
This isn't an album that you like sit at your desk with headphones on and listen to.
It is meant to be heard in public settings.
Like I've put a couple songs on in my car. I've just been like, yeah, no. Like, it's just,
I will say the thing that everyone said that it's become cliche at this point. Yes, it does work better in the sequencing of the album, and the track transitions and the general like momentum of the album is what helps keep the album from ever like stalling out or flopping, because it's just like every track transitions smoothly into the next one and it's like pretty well sequenced. But like the very best songs on the album, none of those are as good as like the 6th or 7th or 8th best song on the Jessie Ware album that came out 2 years ago, right? Like there's still a ceiling on like how authentically fun and great this music can be, just because it is so like market tested in a way that is different than like how Lizzo is market tested. Lizzo is market tested to just make it like very easy and simple to take on. This is like market tested, but market tested for like people that are either album reviewers or people that are dance music fans or gay people, and it's trying to tell us like Beyonce knows what voguing is, and Beyonce knows what bounce music is and what ballroom is and all of these things. And Beyonce is going to embody the history of these Black cultural legacies. And like, better for Beyonce to do
you guys hear about the Carter's record from a few years ago?
God, I mean that record is.
I'm just like actively trying to end this discussion.
Lucky.
I don't care.
Well, pros, that's fine, but like you don't have to participate. Whatever.
I know. I'm sorry. I'm grumpy.
I feel like this record also, or this song specifically, works better in the context of an H&M.
100%.
It just feels it feels very designed to be heard in like very low stakes public places like coffee shops, and maybe coffee shops less so than H&M.
And that's why I had to remind myself to take off my like dance music expert hat listening to this album.
Yeah,
because the thing is that like if Break My Soul came on mixed in between actual house music at a rave, it would sound so out of place and would sound very sterile. However, if Break My Soul came on in between like the average songs that are played at like fucking Target or the average songs that are played at like a couple of bad Los Angeles bars I'm thinking about, like this song would feel like an oasis in that desert.
Totally.
And so that's what I have to respect about it, is that even though it's not going to be good enough to like, none of these songs are going on my anthems playlist. None of these songs are going in my club DJing folder. Like this is not, it is not what I wanted this album to be, which is like the Beyonce album for me. Like I thought this was going to be the Beyonce album that of all of them that was made for me, and it's not, and that's fine because there are some people that I think genuinely like love this record, and then there are also the people that are like promoting this record because they are on a mission sent by God to make Beyonce the most popular artist in America, and like that shit is the stuff I don't like, because the Resident Advisor writer has been getting harassed for 3 days now because the Metacritic score of Resident Advisor is bringing down Beyonce's Resident Advisor score, and they're like furious about this. And the writer's like, I didn't give the review a score. The score that Metacritic gave is just like the score that Metacritic decided on. And it's this kind of like juvenile, like pedantic shit that like fans are deciding to make like their life's mission.
Again, it's literally just the fucking internet. Who cares? Like it's.
Totally.
Yeah. I think we should wrap it up. I think we should wrap it up. Break My Soul, it is fine. The Beyonce album is whatever. It's not. It's just I don't know shit about dance music, so I can't go on the interest. It's just like I listened to it, I was like, okay, this is pleasant enough. Hey, I'll go back to it at some point.
Anything that gets Big Frida a check, preferably
which I agree. I agree with that.
A large size check is something that I'm never going to complain about. So
I agree with that statement.
Good for Big Frida.
Well, there we are. There it is. The Billboard Top 10. A very interesting snapshot into what America is listening to right now.
Maybe we should never talk about pop music again.
That's not going to happen. You know that's not going to happen. I would say, okay, what's everyone's favorite song? I mean, I should say, what is everyone's favorite song? And you cannot say Running Up That Hill. You cannot say Running Up That Hill.
Socials by Morgan Ganem.
For me, probably About Damn Time. That's probably the best one for me.
It's Socials. Okay, but fine. Like, I guess, like, let me look at my list. I made a list somewhere.
Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat.
If you made me a Drakeless edit of Wait For You, that would be my favorite song of the week. As it stands currently, Bad Habits by Steve Lacy is my favorite of these songs by itself.
I think it's a Bad Bunny song for me. I think that's the only song I actually had fun listening to.
Okay, so like it's a toss-up somewhere between the Bad Bunny and Late Night Talking for like non-socials, non-Running Up That Hill division. Like those two are both fine, but like again, I'm never going to listen to any of these songs.
I think Late Night Talking was my least favorite song of the week. I actually...
Least favorite was probably
Nicky Youre. It's Nicky Youre. Never mind. It's not fair.
It's either Nicky Youre or
it's Steve Lacy. That's my least favorite song of the week.
First Class. First Class is not good.
I didn't listen to the Nicky Youre song for more than 10 seconds, so
I wish I knew you want to be.
You're forcing it again. You're forcing it.
Okay, let's Max, what is your least favorite song of this week?
My least favorite song, it feels like I have to exclude Sunroof just because it's too obvious.
Okay, that's fair.
And I think after that, it's probably Bad Habit.
Okay,
It
that's
really
fair.
is just.
I mean,
That's fair.
I would say I don't understand it because I don't like the Steve Lacy album. So like, I'm perfectly aware of how you could not like Steve Lacy, but I do think the song is undeniable, and I get why it was a hit. Like, I get why this song is huge on TikTok.
Mm-hmm. Well then, that is about it. Shouts out. I want to give some shouts out really quick because it's gonna be a while till we do our Q3 episode. Cheem, shouts out to Cheem. Their new record,
yeah.
Guilty Pleasure, is great. Go check that out.
Go listen to that. Go
because-
listen to music that has ideas.
Because I've had the flu, I've not listened to a lot of music. This is probably like the most dedicated music listening I've done since I have recovered from the flu, was listening to this playlist. And the Cheem album was one of those. And also, I've been listening to A Fever You Can't Sweat Out by Panic at the Disco because the Cheem record is that good. It sounds a lot like that record.
More like a flu
that's
you
all-
can't sweat out.
Facts. I tried. I really tried. I really wanted to be done with the flu.
I'm not 100% certain, but I'm just gonna plug it anyway because like I think this is the first pod I've been on since it went up. But I have a piece on Merry Go Round magazine about Black Midi and Chat Pile. You should go read that. It's cool. Thanks.
Yeah. Next week on the pod. So of course we are gonna do Gotta Get That Too. That's a spoiler. We're not telling you what.
Still fucking. I thought we took that off the calendar.
We're doing it. It's just gonna be a little later. Probably not gonna be until the end. Probably not till September is when we're gonna do it. But next week's episode is a very kind of last minute put together. But of course, if you are in our Discord server, you know there is a very strong contingent of jam band fans, of Deadheads in particular, and we're fucking doing it. We're doing a jam band pod on next week's episode. I do not listen to jam band music. So this is going to be a very interesting episode for me in particular.
I put this playlist together, and I have only heard 2 of the songs before this.
Oh god!
It was sourced through
It was sourced mainly through. I would like to thank Gavin and Jack. Those are the 2 people who gave me like all the goods.
I have not committed to recording this episode yet, and I kind of want to weasel my way out of it. But it's been sort of implied that I would be on this episode solely because I am the person in the Discord.
Well, you were the ones who was most vocally hating on Jam Band.
Yes,
so I feel
correct.
like you have to be here.
I'm gonna be like you were on this episode. I'm gonna be very
Jackie. I
grumpy about
need
it.
to hear your opinions on Jam Flow, man. That song.
Okay, fine. I'll do it, but like I'm not gonna. I can I not listen to the playlist and can I just come?
No,
Come and hang out.
It's an hour and a half, guys. It's so much music. Like there's a 20-minute song.
Jackie, I know
sessions.
how much music you listen to.
Yes, but
We all know.
That too.
But none
You're
of
talking
it
on
is
this episode
that.
about listening to like 5 different podcasts. You can split this up into multiple sessions.
Exactly, but I'm gonna have to do it in bite-sized pieces, like a child who is being forced to eat their
Just
Brussels
do it
sprouts.
one Harry Hood at a time.
Yeah. Okay, let's wrap it. Let's end it here. Hopefully you all enjoyed this episode. We'll see you all next week. And yeah, bye-bye.
Snapchat. Hey, Facebook with my moms. I see you like that. Post a little selfie with your fat cat. I see you on Tinder looking lonely where your friends at. Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat. Hey, Facebook with my moms. I see you like that. Post a little selfie with your fat cat. I see you on Tinder looking lonely where your friends at.